black dam male predators. Between them, over the last 20 minutes or so, as we have been sat here, they have done, well, nothing. They have just lain about, doing what lions do very best of all in the world, which is nothing. The only reason that we came down here at this time of the day, when it is quite hot, is that we wanted to show the kids the lions, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, fortunately, that beautiful big elephant got in our way, so we watched him instead. And then we thought we'll just have a quick look here, and I think that this will be our final segment with the black dam males today, because, as you can see, entertainment is in short supply underneath this torchwood or greenthorn tree. They are not doing anything at all. This is, of course, totally normal. And I was just looking up a few things. We reckon they're about 4.5 years old, I think. This chap here looks to have a slightly fuller mane than the one we were looking at, so we did change sides while you were away. So 4.5 years, pretty good time for them to take a territory. Might be slightly early, but it just depends on who's here to defend the territory and how much of a fight they're prepared to put up. I do think it's worth remembering that when the Avoca coalition of males took over this area, the three of them, they didn't have to fight for it. The Birmingham boys just departed one day, and a couple of weeks later the Avoca males arrived. They ended up being called Darkmane, Blondie and Mohawk. There were 4 of them to start with. And I made the suggestion that we should name them after different varietals of avocado. Many of you thought that was quite a funny idea and got into the spirit of it. Many of you were so scandalized that I feared we might chase you away from WildEarth and you'd never watch us again. And so that's why they ended up with the names Darkmane, Blondie and Mohawk. And they weren't named after after avocado varietals. I mean, I think it's probably a better thing that they weren't. Safari lover, you want to know if the guests have any safety from the lions when they're on a kill? Who's on a kill? When the guests are on a kill. Guests normally consume their kills in the lodges. Their kills are normally prepared for them by the lodge kitchens, and they'll enjoy them with a fine wine or so. If you meant when the lions are on a kill, no, not really. I mean, I suppose the big brave ranger or small brave ranger might protect them if the worst came to the worst. But lions generally are not particularly perturbed when we're watching them eating meat. I think they become perturbed if they think you're going to try and steal their meat from them. But if you just watch from a respectful distance, in fact, you don't even have to be that respectful to them. They'll often just ignore you completely, even if you park on top of them. Yeah, affirmative. I was just talking into the radio there. So, yeah, no, I don't think there's any danger at all. If they are used to people and they're feeding, then it's absolutely fine. Some lions, very seldom, never really get used to the presence of vehicles and people. There was a very famous lion at Londolozi called Big Black. And Big Black had an enormous black mane, and in fact was known as Inkunze Mnyama, the black bull. And he didn't used to tolerate vehicles or people his whole life, and he held a territory for a long time on his own. He had no coalition mates. He killed numerous challengers over the years, and he would apparently come up to a vehicle and lift his front paws onto the bull bar and growl, at which point I'm sure everybody inside the vehicle would have been in need of a change of underwear. No, he was an animal that you didn't trifle with and wouldn't have gone near if he was on a kill. These chaps, I think, really, they probably wouldn't mind in the slightest. Sarah, male coalitions are formed in a number of ways. In most cases, they are either siblings or cousins of similar ages from the same pride. So I don't know if these guys are litter mates, but I think they're probably brothers or half-brothers. and if at the very least they're cousins from the same pride of a similar age. And there were 6 of them, I think, at one stage. I think 4 remained on Thorny Bush, which is the reserve, let's say 50 kilometers, 50 or 60 kilometers as the crow flies towards the northwest, and these guys came down here. So the coalition is normally a group of males that gets tossed out of a pride at roughly the same time by the dominant males, either their fathers or new males that come into the area. Then you will get coalitions forming sometimes between a father and son. So if a father is getting long in the tooth and he's got a son who's maturing and kind of ready to be dominant, sometimes they will form a coalition. They may even move away from the pride territory if new males come in, and they'll live together as a coalition. Sometimes complete strangers form coalitions. So 2 lions who are nomadic, they meet up and they decide they quite like each other's company. They'll form a coalition and see what they can do. So it is normally related males who've been tossed out of a pride together, but sometimes it can be totally unrelated nomads. Difficult to say what, when they are unrelated, what makes them attracted to each other or what makes them tolerate each other. I always love those stories, though. I really love hearing stories of 2 unrelated male lions meeting up. You can imagine the awkwardness, because lions meeting strange lions are not particularly friendly to each other. So I really do enjoy it, where, we've got these lions that don't know each other. They meet up, have this awkward interaction, and then decide, no, they actually quite like each other, and they carry on together. I think it's really cool. Alrighty, let's go back over to setters.